Okay, when we applying quadratic equations, the following step will be used. So first, we need to define the variable. Unless the question gives you x already, like the question say that is x. Unless this question gives you like this is x. Otherwise, you need to define it first. So let the length be x or let the area be x. You need to define what is the x. Write an equation. Okay, how we can write an equation? We according to what gives to us, and we write an equation. And then solve for that equation. How do we solve quadratic equation? Factorize or using the quadratic formula. And choose the solutions that solves the equation and answer the question in the context which was given. So check that the solution seems reasonable. As I said, if the length is negative, it's not reasonable. You need to choose the positive answer only. Okay, 4 steps. Okay, let's have a look at the examples. Example 1, the area of rectangle is fixed at 28 meters squared and its length is 3 meters more than its width. Find the dimension of the rectangle. So you have a fixed area and your length is always 3 meters longer than your width. Okay, so what should be x in this case? The length or the width? The width. Okay, so let the width be x meters. Okay, that's the first thing you need to write. Okay, then worth 1 mark. Okay, set up the variable. Let x be, well, it doesn't necessarily to be x. You can say let w be width. What is the length? X plus 3 will be the length. So width equals to x, therefore length will be x plus 3. It's always 3 meters longer than its width. How we can represent area? Area is length times width. So x times x plus 3, that should equals to 28. That should equals to 28. Okay, we have x squared plus 3x. Because we're trying to solve for quadratic, we need to move everything to the left and the right hand side make it 0. Okay, 28. How 28 can make a 3? How we can find the factor of 28 to make a 3? Negative 28. Okay, 7, 4. Positive 7 or negative 7? Positive 7 and negative 4. Okay, positive 7, negative 4. So x plus 7, x minus 4. That equals to 0. X will be minus 7 then, or x will be 4. Okay, in this step, you must write 2 solutions. Well, even though you know negative 7 will not be the answer. Okay, negative 7 would not be the answer. But like you still need to write it out. Because now here is not reasoning step, it's solving step. If you just solve for that equation, you will have 2 solutions. You need to list 2 solutions. Okay, you can't just directly say, oh, x can only be 4. No, you lose 1 answer. Okay, we have 2 answers, but not all of them, like both of them can be used. You will say, because x is the width, so x needs to be greater than 0. Therefore, x will be 4 meters only. So x only take 4. So x equals to 4. Like reject negative 7. So dimension is length equals to 7, width equals to 4. Well, when it's asked you dimension, you need to answer both length and width. Both length and width. Okay, that's example 1. So 4th step, Number 1, set up the variable. Number 2, set up the equation. Number 3, solve for this equation. And number 4, answer the question. Choose the reasonable answer. Okay, 4 stage. Okay, example 2. Example 2. Solve for x. Solve for x. Oh, already gives you what is x. So number 1, you don't need to do number 1 because x is defined in your question. So x is defined in your question. Okay, so what I need to do then is solve for x. So how I can set up an equation? Just have a right angle triangle. How we can set up an equation? Okay. Oh no. Anyone? How we can set up equation by using this right angle triangle? Kevin? Pasek? Okay, so Pasek. So a squared plus b squared equals to c squared. Okay, we use Pasek. We try to make connection between the 3 terms. Therefore, we have x squared plus x plus 2 squared equals to 10 squared. Well, want to solve for it, I need to expand everything first. So x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals to 100. 2x squared plus 4x minus 96 equals to 0. X squared plus 2x minus 48 equals to 0. Divide by 2 on both sides of the equation. How we can factorize that? How? 8 and negative 6 because I need a positive 2. So x plus 8 and x minus 6. Okay, minus 8 and 6 gives you, minus 6 and 8 give you minus 48. So x equals to minus 8 or x equals to 6. Okay, because x needs to be 0, x plus 2 needs to be greater than 0. Okay, both of that needs to be greater than 0 because both of them represent the length of a triangle. Okay, both of them represent a length of the triangle. I need to satisfy both. So x can only be positive 6. X can only be positive 6. So the steps will be number 1, x is defined in your question already. Number 2, use Pasek to set up equation. Number 3 will be finding the 2 solutions. And number 4 is answer the question. Okay, example 3. A father's age is the square of his son's age. Okay, that is now. A father's age is square of his son's age. In x, okay, x is given. Son's age is x. So, son's age is x at the moment. Okay, I'll say this year. So it's x this year. Well, it doesn't matter which one you write. So this year. In 20 years' time, the father will be 3 times as old as his son. What are the ages of father and son? Okay, how we can set up equation? How we can set up equation? Let's say we have 2 time. One is now. one is after 20 years. Okay, one is now, one is after 20 years. Let's say we have now, we have in 20 years. And we have father, and we have son. Okay, son's age is X, which is given. What's father's current age here? What's father's current age here? Yes, Lisa? X squared. Okay, father's age is the square of son's age. So father's age is X squared. Okay, how I can represent the age in 20 years? Okay, think about this first. How I can represent age in 20 years? Well, let's say son is 2 years old. How old is the son after 20 years? 22. What you did? Add 20. So now your son's age is X. What's in 20 years? X plus 20. Okay, how about the father? If the father currently is X squared age, the age is X squared. What's after 20 years?
X squared plus 20.
Yeah, X squared plus 20. What's the relationship between those two ages? In 20 years' time, the father will be 3 times as old as his son. What I can write? Which is 3 times as which? X squared plus 20 equals to 3 bracket X plus 20. That's correct. Okay, father's age in 20 years' time equals to 3 lots of son's age after 20 years' time. That's what you need to think. Okay, every time when there's a question that talks about the age, what you need to do is just think about how many point of time it mentions. Like in this question, it mentioned in 20 years and the current age. So you just have 2 rows and have two people's age list in the column, and you just figure out the representations in terms of X for all these boxes, and then try to set up an equation for that. So that's the equation we have. Therefore, we have X squared plus 20 equals to 3X plus 60. X squared minus 3X minus 40 equals to 0. Okay, what's the factor? Negative 8 plus 5. Plus 5 and negative 8. Okay, minus 8 plus 5 is minus 3. Therefore, X equals to minus 5 or X equals to 8. Because X is age, X needs to be greater or equals to 0. So X can be 8 only. So son is 8 years old. Well, let's write X here. X squared here. Well, son is 8 years old. How old is the father? 64. So you should answer. So son is 8 years old. Father is 64 years old. Okay, example 4. The height h meters of a golf ball is given by that. Okay, given by that graph. Where x meters is the horizontal distance where the ball was hit. Find the value of x when h equals to 0. Let's think about that. Like, ignore this equation first. Let's say a golf ball. How this golf ball should move? Like, what's the, like, when you hit the ball, how this ball will move? Like, the shape of the movement? Okay, it will go up first and then go down, right? So it will looks like, if we start from this point, then the ball can go like that way, and then hit the ground here. Okay, hit the ground here. So it's not necessary to be an actual graph, but like the track is about like that. Okay, so going up to a maximum point and then turn down. Okay, turn down. Okay, find the values of x when h equals to 0. Okay, according to this graph, how many points do you think h will equals to 0? 2. 1 will be at the beginning. When the ball hasn't, like, before it was just hit, the ball will be on the ground and then hit the ground later. So when h equals to 0, minus x squared plus 100x equals to 0. Okay, it's easy to solve that. There's no constant term, so I can take common factor. Okay, don't forget when you factorize things, for that easy expression, we always think about common factor. So x is, like, I can say minus x is a common factor, and I can say that equals to 0. So x equals to 0 or x equals to 100. Both correct. Both correct. Because x equals to 0 is when you hit the, like, when you, before you was just hit. And then the 100 is you travel 100 meters in horizontal and you hit the ground. Okay, hit the ground. So part B is ask you to interpret your answers from part A. Interpret your answer from part A. So what we'll say is, when x equals to 0, it means the ball, like the starting position of the ball. The ball was on the ground before it was hit. X equals to 100. It means the ball traveled 100 meters in horizontal distance and went and hit the ground again. And hit the ground again. Okay, C is asking. And C is asking, find how far the ball was traveled horizontally when the height is 196 meters. Okay, the ball was 196 meters. Well, let's have a look at this graph. Let's say 196 meters is here. There will be 2 points. give you 196 meters. Is that correct? Like 196 meters, you will be at point A and point B. The ball will race to 196 meters and then keep going up after reach the highest point and then turn down. And then passing the point, the height of 196 meters and then keep going down to hit the ground. If 196 is not the maximum point. If 196 is not the maximum point. If it's the maximum point, you only have one time to reach the highest point. But if it's below the highest point, then you must have 2 points to give you that height. So what you need to do here is, you say h equals to 196. So minus x squared plus 100x equals to 196. X squared minus 100x plus 196 equals to 0. Move everything to the right hand side. Okay, let's have a think about the factor of 196. If I divide this by 4, we have 49. So I have factor 4, 7, and 7. So 4 can become 2 and 2. You want to use those numbers to make 100. To make 100. Let me have a think. 49 times 2 gives you 98. So 2 and 98 will give you 100. Okay. 772 will give you 98. 98 and the 2 will give you 100. So x minus 2 and x minus 98 will give you 0. So x equals to 2 or x equals to 98. So after travel 2 meters or 98 meters, that will got a height of 196 meters. Well, I'm thinking this question is not very realistic. Have a think about how high is 196. That's about 3 meters. One floor is about 3 meters. 196 is about 200. It's about 760 something. Okay, 60 to 65 floors. And it only travel for 2 meters in horizontal. Basically, it's just I lie on the floor and then the ball travel from my head to the feet and then go up by 70 floors. It's quite impossible. Okay, it's quite impossible. So, well, we get the correct answer. Nothing wrong with our answer. We get the correct answer, but this question was not really good. Okay, that's like some value is not really achievable. But our answer will stay like that. 2 meters in horizontal and 98 meters in horizontal. Okay, example 5. A small rectangular block of island has a perimeter of 100 meters and has an area of 225 meters. Find the dimension of this block. Okay. Let's draw a rectangle first. Well, if I say, okay, let the width be x meters. So here is x. Can you let me know what my length should be? What my length should be. Think about the perimeter. Perimeter is 100. So length plus width should be what? 15. Okay, 2 lengths, 2 widths give you 100. 1 length and 1 width should give you 15. Now your width is x. What your length should be? 50 minus x. Your length plus width equals to 50 because of the perimeter equals to 100. Length will be 50 minus the width. Then the length will be 50 minus x. Here will be 50 minus x. You need to find out length and width all in terms of x. Okay, all in terms of x. So x times 50 minus x will give you 225 meters. $50x minus x squared equals to 225. X squared minus 50x plus 225 equals to 0. 225 divided by 5, 45. 559. You want to make a 50. Okay, let me have a look. Have 3 and 3. $25 times 3, 75 and 3. That's not the 50. $44, 45. Yeah, oh yeah, just find 45 and 5 on the top. Yeah, 45 and 5 is a 50, and x minus 5 and x minus 45, that's 0. So x will be 5 or x will be 45. Okay, if x equals to 5, it means width equals to 5. The length equals to 50 minus x, length equals to 45. So width is 5, length is 45. If x equals to 45, then width is 45. L equals to 50 minus x, L equals to 5. Okay, width is 5, length is width is 45, length is 5, which is not really correct, but like it's the same thing. You can see 45 times 5 and 5 times 45. That's the same thing. That's the same rectangle. You just look at it this way or this way. So it's the same rectangle, so you don't need to answer that. You just say length is 45 and width is 5. Well, what we assume is length should be longer and width should be shorter. So we'll choose that answer, 45 and 5. They're the same rectangle. Okay, 45 times 5 rectangle. Okay, we have done for this chapter. Okay, for this chapter. So tomorrow you should bring some book and then do some exercise. Friday I will give you a worksheet to do on the class, the first period. I'll give you a worksheet to do, and the next, we have Friday. The test will be on Thursday. Okay, test will be on next Thursday. There's no cats and no nose. Okay, no cats and no nose.